We are in the studio today with John Nadwairski, an inventor, and you have some great inventions here to show us. You're from Boxborough.
I am.
And tell us about some of the process that goes through your mind in creating different things that people need.
Right. The first thing is I get stuff in my head all the time. So usually when I'll see something, I'll say, is that a problem? And if it is a problem, then I try and figure out, do I have a solution for that problem? For instance, if you look over here, one of the things I have is a process that'll help you slice and cut equal portions of an odd number of slices. For example, if you had 7 people for dinner,
oh wow,
that's the whole stack. It goes 3, 5, 7, and 9.
This is really handy.
If you had 7 people, for instance, it's hard to cut equal pieces, but you stick that little disc right in the middle. It has 7 little leaves on it, and then you just cut the 7 leaves and you get equal pieces. Nobody feels slighted, etc. So.
And then if you want to go down to 5, you just switch it, and then you get some big pieces for the people who are not on a diet. That's wonderful. What a great idea. What gave you the idea to do, this is actually your invention?
It is my invention, yes. And that invention kind of started with a little disc like that, and I went through multiple iterations to get it to where I have it here. And if you have the full number of them, you can stack them like that or just set them side by side.
How did you get the mold made?
3D printing. And there's a 3D hub which will supply you with people who do 3D printing. My guy happens to be up in New Hampshire, just because that's the guy they gave me. He's very good. What I do is I'll send him an idea, usually sketch out an idea. In this particular case, I just sketched it out. I started with something really big. And first time I sent it to him, he said, too big. Nobody will buy them too big, too hard to make. So we kind of like got it down to a size where it's about 3 inches across. And then we talked about, you notice on this one, there's a tiny, small little hub there and a small hub there. We talked about how will it work if you wanted to stack them. So you go through a couple of iterations. That one happens to be the latest iteration. The only thing I don't like about this is it has some scoring on top here.
I see, yes.
Which, if you look at this afterwards, you'll have chocolate, in this case, on there. It's a little harder to wash that with the scoring on it. So my next iteration will be really flat.
Now, have you gotten a patent on this yet, or is that the next in the work, and then maybe try to sell it to, like, you know?
Right. That's a very good question, because I have about 200 ideas, but I only brought the ones that I have patent pending.
Okay, great.
So that nobody out there can go and make this and go to the market and sell it.
This is a great idea. I could see this at definitely Walmart and yeah.
That there's all the people like Walmart, Amazon, AC Hardware, Target. There are Alibaba and those groups.
I think that would sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, those are good. People tend to like that because it's easy. You can stick it away.
I want those already.
There you go.
I would buy those.
Now you and I would eat a piece of cake, except we're both on diets, right?
We're both on diets, low carb diets. We both lost weight. All right. So what else do you have here? Let's go around the table.
So next one is a small sterilizer. What I call it the Germinator.
Okay. Let me just pick this.
Because I started working on this when the Terminator movies were out.
Okay.
So I picked up the name Germinator. At any rate, it's a small 5x9. It has a UVC light in here. UVC light is very dangerous to skin, and it's also very dangerous to bacteria.
Now, this is something you already bought and you modified?
I did.
Okay.
Exactly. That's a prototype.
Yeah, so it's a prototype. Yeah. So when you make a prototype, you maybe buy something that's already constructed, and then you added to what's already there.
I
added the...
I added the light.
That's a great
and
idea.
I took out some things that they had inside because I didn't need them. But the mechanicals are there. So that's battery run, but it also has AC on it.
So tell us how this works.
So you have kids have binkies. They drop them on the floor. The dog licks them, etc. You want to sterilize them, a little spoon. You could use it for toothbrushes. You could use it for hearing aids. You could use it for anything you can stick in there.
Right.
You close it, and you put it on, and it'll run for X amount of minutes. You don't want to open it while it's running. And my prototype, I put a little hole in there so I can see.
Okay.
I can see the actual light.
Right, right.
When
So
it goes
the light
off.
is actually killing the germs.
Yeah, light kills the germs. So it stays about 2 minutes. It'll kill 99.99% of the
And much
germs.
better than using like chemicals and stuff. You're actually using light to kill the germs.
Yeah,
So I like
and
that idea.
the UVC light is will kill the bacteria. It also produces a little bit of the good ozone, like the ozone layer that's protected. This is an ozone that actually will help kill bacteria also. I've had this tested at a couple of labs to make sure it actually works, so that I'm not promoting something that doesn't work.
Okay,
So
great.
That's a
great.
cool one. I have a patent on the idea yet. I don't have a patent on
So
design.
you're just going to do the prototype, but that will come next.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a whole series of things. Once you figure out you have some kind of idea that works, it'll sell, and there'll be 1 million people who want it. You don't want to sell something that 4 people will want. Next idea is, well, I'll show you the beginners.
Okay.
The
Now this looks like something you put in the ground for your tent.
Very good.
Or something for landscaping, that type of
Very
thing.
good.
Okay.
So for a tent, tree spikes to hold up the tree spikes, etc. So this is initial early one I did, and you notice it has fins on it. So in New England, there's a lot of rocky ground.
Yes, I
It was
know.
hard to get the fins in. So what I did was I shaved off the fins to make it look like this. This is an ugly one because I shaved off the fin. So the next time I had it made, I had the 3D printing guy make it like that, no fins, etc. I had this made a little wider and thicker because sometimes you need to hammer it into the ground. So
Excellent. All right, what else do you have? It looks like you have
Okay.
toothpicks.
here are toothpicks. So once you eat the cake, you'll want to use a toothpick to clean your teeth.
Right.
Often people do that. Now the normal toothpick has a spike on this side and a spike on that side. So it's good for cleaning in front. Real hard to get that spike behind your teeth. So my design is what I call a J-pick. So it's formed like a J. It's a nice name because my first name is John, so it goes nicely. But that you can also get behind your teeth to clean behind.
Now, what's the difference between that and you have like a flosser here, which I know I use a lot?
The flosser will get in between your teeth, like
Right.
where it's really tight. You can't even get a toothpick in.
Right, right.
So you use a. That's not mine. I just use that as an example.
Right, exactly.
She left at home.
Yeah, those are great.
But I actually have made my own toothpick, J-pick, that I use myself. You have this in particular, after a lot of trying to bend this, wood doesn't bend and stay easily. So every time I would soak this in water, I'd bend it, what would happen is it would crack. So I finally found out that what I have to do is I have to use bamboo.
Okay.
So the bamboo works nicely. I'm working with some people to try and license this, because while there's like 8 billion of these toothpicks made in a year, they don't bring in a lot of
And
money.
we all we all see them at restaurants.
Yeah, yeah. But they don't bring in a lot of money from my perspective. So it's easier for me to license this to somebody, and even if I got a penny for whatever you want.
Excellent. Yeah. Hey,
Or-
you're thinking ahead, which
Yeah,
is what
would-
you need to do when you're an inventor. You need to
Yeah.
be forward thinking.
Yeah,
So, and what else do you have here?
The other thing this can be used for, you notice it has a hole down the middle, is in New England and any place where you have snow, you put these things around, these poles around your yard. I cut one off, obviously, around the yard so the plow doesn't dig up your yard. So these steady.
Yeah, I could definitely see a lot of applications. I
Yeah.
mean, you could put like maybe a solar light or any kind of trespassing signs in there,
could.
anything,
You
you
could.
know.
Any of
That's
that kind
wonderful.
of stuff.
Now, what do you have here? What is this?
Well, those are little wristbands, and
you're wearing two.
Yeah, I am wearing two. So I use a computer a lot, and when I do, I'll rest my arms on the table, basically. What happens is my wrists start to hurt.
Right.
And so any kind of repetitive activity like that will hurt your wrists. So what I did was got regular bands. I cut them open. I put a little fluffy stuff in there inside
Yeah.
a balloon, sewed them back up, and I have a prototype of a wrist.
Yeah, you could even use these when you're working out at the gym.
Yeah,
You know,
you know the other thing is that they make a long kind of buffer that you can put in front of your laptop. But if you're going to travel someplace, you don't want to take that big buffer with you.
You know,
so you
yeah,
put these on,
yep.
and they stay with you all day. So that's that. Shall we talk about another? Another is this little baby. That's a 10-inch with five auger rings.
This almost looks like something you go to the beach with.
Oh, thank you very much.
And because I know you know that you really have to put your umbrella in the beach sand.
Yeah.
You got to be safe because if it gets windy, you can hurt somebody.
And flies off and hits somebody, etc.
I think I'm taking this home because I like to go to the
So
beach.
this is a prototype because you'll notice as he's holding it up, there's 5 augers on that. I found that I didn't need 2 augers because it wasn't necessary. Plus, it adds money to it. So my latest one, and I made it a little bigger hole because it'll accommodate a lot more umbrellas. And I only put 3 augers on it. Again, this guy, the 3D printing guy, made this for me. And it has a little screw on here, so sometimes your post isn't as big as the hole. So you just screw that tight to keep it tight.
And you could use that for like umbrellas. You could use that for like canopies if someone's having a party. Correct. All that type of stuff.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
I've also used this earlier version of this when we had a St. Bernard, and we wanted to have a run for her.
Right. Yeah.
I screwed this in. You put the line in here.
So what do? You kind of just screw it into the sand or the ground?
Yeah, it goes into sand. And the ground in New England, it's a little harder.
It is a little harder, especially this time of year. Yeah, it really hasn't thawed out yet.
So.
Awesome.
That's about it.
So tell us the name of your company.
The company's name is Great Solutions, LLC. And the website, if you wanted to get in, look at the website, is www.greatsolutions.site. Okay. So, and I have a email address. If you wanted to send me something, it's ida.innov.gmail.com. at gmail.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you for taking the time to come into the Acton TV studios, and we want to have you come back maybe next month with some more inventions.
I would love to do that.
And I think, out of all of these, I really like this, and I really like the cake cutter. It's a really great idea.
Yeah, that's a cool idea too.
All right. Thank you for taking the time. This is George for Talk of the Town. We'll see you again next time.
Take care.